Okay, I'm going to show you how to take one of these and rebuild it. Alright, now I have this one which is not working correctly. And we're gonna take this and we're gonna rebuild it. Okay? Solenoid. So, what I've got here, they got me a whiz wheel. Alright? And on the back of here, as you can see, right there, there's rivets. Now we have to whiz wheel these little rivets on the back here, flat with the metal. Alright, so go ahead and do that. Now make sure you got some glasses on. If you don't, you're going to end up with problems. Alright, now here we go. Now as you can see, I whiz wheeled them flat with the metal. Alright, and I hope you didn't forget to put your glasses on. And I have this punch. Just a little punch. So I can punch these out. Now these should pop right out if you did it right. The back will come right off. Now it's got a gasket on there, and I'll make sure you save that. You got your spring right here. Don't lose it. You're going to need it. Make sure all your rivets are removed from the housing. Now I hope you saved that spring. Now what you have now here is these little things right here. See these? These little side posts. You might have one on yours, but I've got two on this one. Now what I got to do is I got to slowly work them out. You know, just slowly. Don't force them. There's a little wire hooked onto them. You don't want to break it. All right, so you just kind of work them out real slow. All right. Now remember, they're going to all of a sudden come loose. Alright, I'm going to show you how this thing is supposed to go. You got your bell. Now it lays down in there like that. I'll show you that later. This thing here goes down on the little thing there too. Alright. And then your electric motor goes around it. That's your windings. These are called copper windings. Because as this thing sits in there, like that, alright, you got that? Pay attention. And then this bell goes over top of here, alright, and then this sits on this piece here, which is down in there, alright, and there's a little spring down inside there. I don't know if you see it, but on yours you'll be able to see it. Now this little small end fits down into that spring, alright, and that spring keeps it from making a connection. Now what happens is, it's not wanting to line up. There we go. What happens is, that's up inside that bell and that little metal thing, and when you hit the electric, right, when you hit the electric on the two posts, it causes that motor to electrify and cause that metal thing to want to come out and push that up. Now when that comes up, it touches both of them flat pieces that you see. Don't lose your spring now. Just get that spring out there and save it. Now inside of here, right down inside of your thing, you'll see two flat copper pieces, and that's the ends of these. Now you can look at them and see if they're dirty. Because once they get dirty, they don't make as good a connection, and that could be, and usually is, your problem. Now sometimes I've noticed on these that this piece right here is made out of plastic. On this end here, if it ain't shaped about like that on yours and looks melted, it may not work properly. So, but this one here is a nice brass one, so this is a really nice one here. It's made out, that post is made out of brass, so it's less likely that it's going to be melted from overheating. Now some of these solenoids are built to melt, so you have to get a new one. And don't let them trick you, because that's the way they are. Now I noticed this one right here on the inside is corroded. It's not a lot, but it's enough to make a bad connection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up on here with this, right, and unscrew the bolt. All right, that bolt right there. Right. Now we're going to take that bolt, and since that ain't pushing out, take that bolt all the way up to where it's sticking above the bolt. Okay, sticking above the bolt. Now take something with a little weight to it, and I got these heavier pair of pliers, and just kind of hit it until it falls through like that. See how that happened? Now we can take that bolt the rest of the way off. I got my finger up in here holding it, and I take this bolt the rest of the way off, and this piece right here, I drop right down in my hand like that. And I'll show you how dirty it is. See that corrosion on the edge? It's been making it hit and miss, and I work all the time. But all we have to do is put that on a wire wheel or sand her down a little bit and make her nice and shiny again. And we can put this thing back together and have her. Now I've cleaned it up, and as you can see, I hope you can see how shiny it is, because I put her on my wire wheel, which you can hear running in the background, and shut her down. But I got that cleaned up now. I know that's going to make a good connection, so I want to stick it back in the same way. The flat part goes towards the middle. Just drop it down in there, make sure it's lined up correctly. Alright, take that bolt that you took off of there, put that bolt back on there by hand. Alright, if it ain't going on by hand, you need to clean that bolt up. That thing should go on there by hand, all the way down as far as you can with your hand. Alright, now once you get her down there, you take this thing right here, take a 7/16 wrench, and you just tighten that up a little at a time, little at a time, little at a time, until she's tight. Alright, now that's tight. And check her out, make sure she's good. Now, snug her down good and tight. That way, when you go to tighten up your bolt, this thing won't move. You know? Make sure it's tight. That's what happens sometimes. The bolts come loose, and it gives you trouble. I'm going to go ahead and take the other one off, because I just want to make sure to do it right. And you might want to do that too. Alright, now that we got this all cleaned up, you check your little thing here and check them little connections out right there. See them? These little pieces right here, because usually them are scarred up. Alright, they're scarred up. See that? Now I'm going to take a little file and just barely touch them to kind of clean them up and make them shiny again, because I have to have a good connection when I sit them down. Now that once we got this all cleaned up, we know that it's going to make a good connection. Now we got to put that spring back in here, your little spring. I hope you didn't lose it. Put your little spring down in that little hole and get it lined up in that hole just right. That has to go in there just right. Now, this piece here, if you remember that one, we cleaned it up. Let's put it back so that middle part of that hits right in that spring. Alright. Now, you want to get this hole so that that little pole goes up to that little hole. And then this will sit down in there just like that. See how it's sticking up through there? Hope you can see that. Now that we've done that, okay, let's take your magnet and have it ready. Take this metal pole, and there's that pole you see sticking up to that bell right now. You want to slide that right up on there like that. See, right like, yeah, what the heck is going on here? There we go. See that? Goes right in there like that. Now, line this up so that your posts line up with the holes, and slide that down over there, nice and easy. And line these up with your holes like that. You know, don't push the motor part down too fast, because you want to make sure this is all lined up. Now these things won't just go through, so take your pair of pliers, grab a hold of the plastic and the tip of that, and just slowly bring both sides down evenly. Alright, until it's all the way down. And make sure everything's kind of flat in there. Your copper wire should run right along those plastic things. See how that does that? That's where you want those copper wires. If you break them copper wires, this will not work anymore. And you take this piece here, and that goes right back on there, like so. Hope you can see that. Mine's got a little washer on it. I don't know if yours does, but it doesn't matter. Now the spring goes right around this metal piece right here. That little plastic piece that's right there, that goes right around there like that. You take the back and slide it on there like it's supposed to be. Just like that. Alright, see that? Alright. Now, I've got a pop rivet gun over here. And I've got the right size pop rivet. Now, what I need to do is get those pop rivets down to that hole and press it tightly, firmly against the thing. Now, I'm squeezing this pop rivet slowly, little at a time. Okay, because I got to get more of them. Now once you got that little snug, just pull that back up off of there like that, okay? And leave it there for a minute. Because you got another one. You want to at least get 2 of them in there before you get too confident. Because that spring is going to want to pop out on you. You know. So just kind of squeeze that pop rivet. And now we can go ahead and I'm going to tighten them both up evenly until they are just like that. See that? That's 1. That's 2. Now they're tight. See, now it'll hold. But I'm going to go ahead and stick 2 more in there. Since there was originally 4 and I want it to be in good shape, so I'm going to stick a 4 in there altogether. In all 4 holes. Replacing the originals that were in there as best I can. They're not under huge pressure, but let's get them done. Alright? Get them done. Now the last thing we need to do here is make sure both of these connections are clean. They're in there steady. Go ahead and clean them up and then you can install it and you'll have a working solenoid.